Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here with Retire Different. Retire Different is a place for people who want to ask the right questions to make really good financial decisions in order to have a fabulous retirement. Now, we write articles in a very practical way about how to think about the new world that we're living in when it comes to retirement. Now, a lot of people went to work right out of high school and they're expected to stay with their employer for years and really put their retirement planning on autopilot as they thought that they were going to be able to benefit from the long-term benefits of an employee retirement plan. Now, that's great as long as the employer stays around and that their financial situation remains the same so that they are able to give the benefits that you are expecting. Now, what's really happened though, and we know this is the shift that's happened in the workplace, is that employers are no longer feeling the responsibility to take care of their employees in retirement. That has all changed. And even if they did care and they wanted to help us live the life that we're hoping for, they can't afford it. There's just too many of us now, too many boomers, and so everyone's noticing this shift in how we're having to depend less on an employee pension plan and more on ourselves. And in many ways, the message is, retirees, you are on your own. And so you've got to take this fairly seriously if you want to have a lifestyle in retirement that you've been planning all those years that you were in employment. Now, even programs like Social Security are under threat. And I think we've talked about this before, that anyone who thinks that they are going to live on their Social Security for the next 20 years, fully is going to be very surprised. You cannot depend on that. It's just, not going to happen. The reality is shifting so fast. So we must take about a different look. In terms of, in the past, we looked at, securing an income so that we could retire with savings in retirement. But now we're, I think, having to think about savings, but also how to secure an income in retirement. Now, this is a little bit different than the old school advice, which you get, from some traditional advisors who say, you've done all the income generation. Now it's time to take the money that you have saved and to turn that into an income machine for you. And that's all very well, but I'll share with you some numbers, and please go out and read the article too, because we go into it in a lot more detail and there's more statistics and things that you can examine. Now, people are asking us all the time, how much have you saved for retirement? And that's the calculator. That's the way that people are looking at how prepared we're going to be. But they never ask, in my opinion, the more important question, which is, how much monthly income have you secured for retirement? Now, for example, there's so many fluctuations in interest rates and the market has been relatively unstable. But, over the years, you can guarantee some amount, or you can at least try to. But in reality, you would need a lot of money in savings to generate just a small amount in income. So say, for example, you had $150,000 say you wanted $500 extra a month. You would need $150,000 in savings in order to generate that $500 a month. And most of us want that money right now. We want to spend it on our living expenses and also other things that are important to us in retirement. So it's all very well to have a good amount of money in savings, but we also have to be looking at how that's going to be generating money for us. Now, this is kind of a massive impact on our retirement lifestyle, because we may have in our mind, we're going to travel, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, buy a retirement home. And when it gets right down to it, we may have enough in savings to feel comfortable, but we don't have the income coming in. So we put our retirement savings, for example, into bonds where we think that's safe, where we're going to get a regular income from that. But even that is no longer a stable opportunity. And there are lots of ways that you can think about making some income in retirement. Now, we've done other articles on this topic. I advise you to read them because they're not abstract. We're really trying to be very practical and specific about what you can do. And I'm actually going to make some recommendations or ideas, things you can consider. And when you go to the article, there's examples of places that you can do these things to make money. The infrastructure is changing. And this is kind of the advantage of where we are as boomers, is that we've got a challenge. Yes, we've got a challenge where we maybe didn't save enough for retirement, or our retirement savings are not going to be enough to turn into real income. But, also at the same time, there are companies forming that are helping us to make money by doing simple things like renting a room, for example, or renting your car. And I'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. So things in my own circle of friends, I've got people who are tutors who were doing tutoring, now doing online tutoring. I've got people that are doing language tutoring. I have friends who are doing crafts. Someone's making soap and making a good living from that because it's a beautiful product. And other people are writing. And even 60andMe, our company 60andMe, we have freelance writers who write for us who are over 60, and they're doing great. They're just as talented and competent and creative as the younger freelancers that we have also working for us. So $500 doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot if you're only making $3,000, $2,500 a month, from pension or Social Security. So having $500 is really, really important. And as I mentioned, you've got to have over $150,000 in savings in order to extract $500 a month to spend. So what are some things you can do? All right, well, please, as I said, go to the article because there's lots of validating sites and places you can go on all of these topics. You can rent your home. If you're traveling, for example, you can rent your home while you're away, or you can choose a few days a month or weeks that you want to rent a space in your room. And Airbnb, of course, is the most obvious one, but there are others, and you can actually take full advantage of that. Another is to rent your car. Now, this doesn't sound like one that you might be aware of, but it's a really valid, there's organizations that are coordinating all this and insurance and planning, but you can rent your car. You can rent out your RV or your camper van if you have one. And this may be something that you dreamt of to be able to do in your retirement, but you find yourself now only doing it a few months a year, or your circumstances might have changed. You can rent out your RV or caravan. And you can also rent your parking space. Now, this sounds kind of, unusual too, but in reality, there are a lot of cities and towns in United States, Canada, all over the world that have events going on, conferences or big festivals or whatever. And during those weeks, you can rent your parking spaces for a reasonable amount of money. And it's people are willing to spend. I know in Monte Carlo, I was there on a cruise, and somebody mentioned that if you have a balcony overlooking the racetrack, you can make a fortune in those particular 2 weeks of the Monte Carlo race. But there's other things, and so you can be creative about what's going on in your world. Now, I hope I've given you some ideas here. Now, maybe you've got some that you'd like to share with us, because I think this is part of the beauty of our Retire Different community. We want real people out there telling us what they think about our ideas, and we want you to share with us what you are doing. Now, before I close, I want to just mention, for example, that you can create your own pension plan. You can buy an annuity. There are such things, that you can buy an annuity where you give money to an insurance company, and then they pay you back every month for as long as you live. And that's a bit like Social Security. You pay in and you get it out as as long as you're around. But of course, the risk is that if you die young, or you just don't get many years out of it, the money is gone. It goes to the insurance company. But this annuity does work for some people, and it's an income annuity. And if you've got any thoughts on that or questions about it, please let us know, because it's an option. It may not be for everyone, and you may have a very visceral reaction to not wanting to potentially lose all your money if you've got that planned as a legacy for your children and grandchildren. But look, the truth is, you've got to live, right? And if you're happy and healthy and you're going to live to be 90, 95 years old, you need a plan. This is where the retire different is. It's not 5 years in your 60s that you're retiring for. This is, we're living longer now, and we've got an opportunity to find some very creative ways to bring income into our reality. Because going back to what we said at the very beginning, I don't mean to be, sort of flippant about this, but you can either be a very disgruntled and unhappy, retiree, feeling like the world is really bad for you and you've lost out on all the opportunities, or you can do something proactive. You can do something very proactive to earn that extra $500, that extra $1,000 every month that will make your life so different. And that honestly is what we're all about here at Retire Different, to give you some options to make your retirement a different experience than even you might have thought about, even you might have expected. So how do you generate extra income in your retirement? Or have you thought about this? How are you thinking about potentially making some extra income to secure your retirement? Leave your answers or your thoughts and feedback in the section below, and we'll have a conversation. I want to thank you for being here. Please subscribe to our Retire Different YouTube channel and check out our website. There are some really, I think, interesting articles there from a different lens, and we look forward to your feedback, your comments, and your participation in this amazing journey that we're all on into retirement. So take care, everybody. We'll talk again soon, and thank you again for being here. Bye for now.